Good evening, Interneters. Welcome to webisode number 91 of the Xcast right here on the EmpireMedia.com. It's day 5225 in the search for Tim Shovelday, although this is webisode number 91, so we shouldn't be talking about Tim Shovelday. This is the Sergei Fedorov official.
Episode 32?
Yeah, this is the official Sergei Fedorov episode of the web of the, what's this show called? The Xcast is what this show is called. I'm your host, Josh Halsander. With me, as always, the brainchild, the omnious soul of the EmpireMedia.com, Mr. Adam Hernandez. How's it going, Adam?
Pretty good. How about you?
Awesome, man. Awesome. We got a good, kind of fun, regular show for you tonight on the Xcast. We don't get to do those as often as we used to because we have so many other things going on here on the EmpireMedia.com with the best podcast in history and deep issues and Loud State and politics of the Empire and the Majors Live and everything else we do over here in this studio. So it'd be nice to just kind of kick back and do a little show tonight for you here on the Xcast. What do you want to start with, man? What are you feeling?
I don't know. What do you want to start with?
Do you know what we haven't done in a long time, man? We haven't, just nerded out talking some movies. You know, movies, movie talk and stuff. It's October, it's Halloween. All the girls are, semi-high on pumpkin spice.
That's true. All the basic bitches out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's something Tiffany dropped a couple of weeks ago.
Did she say? Did Tiffany say something about basic bitches?
She said something about basic bitches, and I thought it was
and
funny.
pumpkin spice. That one, yeah. I think she did say that in best podcast history. Yeah. You know how it is. Them basic bitches drinking that pumpkin spice. I saw only Dune nerds like myself will get this, but I saw something the other day. It was just the big Dune sandworm popping out of the sand, and it just said, "He who controls the pumpkin spice controls the white girls."
That's true, though. That is true. Anybody? I mean, I'm not a Dune nerd by any stretch of the imagination because I've never read Dune. I've never seen the movies.
The quote from the actual thing is, "He who controls the spice controls the universe."
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, he who controls the pumpkin spice controls
the white girls.
The white girls, yeah. The white girls wearing the UGG boots, the yoga pants,
right?
And
pretty much dressed like Han Solo, but much cuter.
Yes. Not as cool, but
nowhere near as cool, but dressed the same way. Tight pants and a vest is what they're rocking,
and a scarf,
yeah,
and holding a frappuccino from Starbucks.
Yeah, holding a frappuccino instead of a blaster.
Yes.
Hey, it's October. The scary. Are you a scary movie guy, man?
I do. I like scary movies.
No, I do too. I do too.
Scary movies are.
I do too. And 'tis the season.
Yeah.
For that sort of thing. Have you seen the new Halloween yet?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
No,
I have not.
And I heard it's good. I heard it's gonna kind of resurrect the franchise in a sense, but
it's just weird because you can say it. It's doing something for the franchise, but it kills the franchise too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm a huge Halloween fan. The movies, Halloween movies, but it throws out all the sequels. Every one of them. It's a direct sequel to the first one, and it ignores everything else.
Well,
which to me is like a strange kind of reboot thing.
It is, but there was Halloween 3 that had nothing to do with any of them. So obviously it's not going to matter if they throw that one out.
But Halloween 4 brings it back, and it's pretty cool, But yeah, then, H2O, Michael Myers dies, but then you find out that he didn't really die. And then in Resurrection, Jamie Lee Curtis dies. And I guess, I guess they got to throw that out. But I just don't like it that it throws away some of the... Halloween 2 is cool. You didn't have to throw away Halloween 2.
Are they kind of going the Batman route here?
I think so.
Where, it's...
Well, the thing is, does Michael Myers kind of
Because is that okay with you? Is the Batman route, is that not necessarily for Halloween, but is the Batman format, is that okay with you?
Okay, here's
the way that they perceive that entire franchise.
It is, but let me differentiate why I think why it's very different. To me, Batman is a comic book character. So movies about Batman can they can come out, they can reboot, they can start over, they can say things that aren't really true. That's air quotes going around the word true, because I know he's a fictional character. But to me, Batman he's a comic book character more than anything else. So movies about him are just they're movies about him. You know, they hit, they miss, they're good, they're bad. There's a bunch of different stuff, and it doesn't really question the character that is Batman because he's all over the place. You know, I mean, he's a character, but I mean, you can't. It's not like you can really put together a Batman timeline when you look at every Batman comic book, every Batman book, every Batman cartoon, every Batman movie. You know, they're all over the place. You'll just run into a world of fallacy and go insane. But Michael Myers is a movie character. So to me, you have to be somewhat true to the movies when you're talking about a movie character. Where in the comics, I'm going to be more critical of something in Batman because I'm going to say, no, you can't do that in a comic book because we know that Batman doesn't do that.
Has Michael Myers though kind of eclipsed just being a movie character though? I mean,
perhaps.
I mean, Michael Myers is such an iconic. I mean, he's obviously. For me, when you talk about horror movie villains, I mean, there's the top three. There's Michael Myers, Jason, and Freddy Krueger.
And
right?
and yes, I agree with you completely. And in my personal opinion, Michael Myers is number one in that list, no matter what.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I agree that those are the top three, but Michael Myers is number one. You can fight over Freddy and Jason for 2 and 3.
I think I like Jason number 1, Michael Myers 2, and then Freddy 3.
I loved the Freddy versus Jason thing.
Did you?
I did. I thought that was a great way. It was more funny than it was scary, but and just kind of action. But I liked how they brought them together. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, but all the late Freddy Krueger and Jason movies, they suck.
They're terrible.
They're horrible.
And when it comes to Freddy,
and that's something you got to respect too about these Halloween movies is they don't try to make it like kind of like a slapdick type of horror movie. No,
you want to compare the Halloween sequels to the Freddy Krueger or to the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Friday the 13th. There is no comparison. The Halloween sequels, I'm not saying they're great cinema. It's not The Godfather or anything here we're talking about. It's not Citizen Kane. But they're good.
I've never seen Citizen Kane. I don't want to.
No, it's overrated. But how can it be overrated?
It seems like it's incredibly boring.
Yeah, it's just
that and like Gone with the Wind. No, thank you.
Oh, I like Gone with the Wind. I didn't mind Citizen Kane. I thought it was kind of cool, but it's just the idea that it's the greatest movie ever made is just it's dumb. It's
nonsense.
It just shows you what happens when you let college professors tell you what is.
It's a different era. I mean, it's a different era of cinema. I mean, you're not going. I mean, that's like saying that. I mean, well, it's a perfect comparison if you want to talk like baseball or something like that. Like, okay, Babe Ruth is the best baseball player to ever live. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine, but how would Babe Ruth, 1920s, 1930s Babe Ruth, do in today's game?
Right. Could Babe Ruth hit Justin Verlander?
Probably not.
I don't know.
I don't think he could.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. It's a question I love to ask people when you're talking baseball is, could Babe Ruth hit Justin Verlander? Maybe he could.
Oh, I'm sure he
Maybe he could.
I'm sure he could, but, he could. He could.
Or maybe he'd just stand there with the bat on his shoulder and just watch strikes go by. But I honestly don't know.
I think that's the comparison, though. Even when you look at a movie like Citizen Kane, and you're talking about a great movie today.
Okay, here's where I find the flaw in that. Okay, I know that you're a college film professor. You're a film class professor, and I took film classes when I was in college, and it was fun, but they're not good or anything. But they would tell you that Citizen Kane was the best cinematography wise for the time, but I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it for a second. Gone with the Wind came out the same year as Citizen Kane. The Wizard of Oz came out the same year as Citizen Kane. To me, that movie stands the test of time and is better. Casablanca came out 4 years later. You know, I want to say Citizen Kane. I don't know this off the top of my head. This wasn't part of our thing. But I want to say Citizen Kane was 1939 and Casablanca was 1943. So we're talking within, you know, less than a kindergartner's age here. Casablanca's a way better movie, man. And it totally stands the test of time. So this idea that Citizen Kane was the best even back then, no. I don't buy it.
Is my wife nuts for not liking Wizard of Oz?
Yes. Yes, she is.
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, yeah, it's cheesy at some parts.
I didn't know that. Yeah, she doesn't like Wizard of Oz.
She doesn't like Wizard of Oz.
What? Wizard of Oz is awesome.
It's a cool story.
It is, and it's classic. The book's great. The movie's great. I love it.
It's a cool.
Dorothy was hot.
Oh, you like Judy Garland?
Oh yeah.
During that time.
Yeah. And it sucks they had to tape her boobs back to do that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because she had such a killer rack. She was so hot and had this killer rack, but they had to tape her boobs back to play Dorothy because they wanted her to look young. And it's a goddamn crime, is what it is.
That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it is. It is. But you know, I mean, we're talking 1939 thinking here, and it just sucks because yeah, she was packing some wicked raction, and they couldn't even contain it. I mean, they just had to just masking tape the hell out of that rack, just to hide it. And she still looks good. She still looks damn good in that movie.
I don't like her hair though. I think it did something better with her hair. But that's
she could have.
That's 1930s. Though.
Right. And what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
They're trying to make her look old school, and they shouldn't have. They should have just let her hair fall down and let that rack pop out and just. That's what that movie should have been. That's what it'd be today. So see,
like a smut Wizard of Oz.
I don't want it to be smut. I just want her to be hot. I just want her to look hot. You know, I don't care. You know, if you want to have, you want to go on the other side.
Would you want to see the witch hot?
Yes, because I think she's kind of hot too. Actually,
you do?
Is that wrong? Is that bad?
Yeah, she wasn't hot.
Yikes. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind the witch being hot. And I don't care. You want to give the Scarecrow six-pack abs? That's cool, too. I don't care. You can mix it up. You can have the dudes be hot, too. You can have the Tin Man be all buffed out. Roided up.
Yeah.
I'm cool. That's fine with me. It's totally cool with me. But, okay, so this Halloween movie. So it ignores all the other ones. What's kind of weird about it, too, man, is like, does Michael Myers break out of the mental institution and go grab like some Metamucil? Some stuff. I mean, dude's got to be pushing 60 years old, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and if you're tying back to the old one, you know, I mean, he's got.
So that's what they do in this new one. They get rid of all of them but one.
That's from what I understand. Yes. Yeah. This is a direct sequel. This is almost like it's Halloween 2, 40 years later. They ignore everything else. So he's never broke out of prison before.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
In this instance. So that makes him like he's not Michael Myers. Like he just had the one night, and it was like 35, 40 years ago. So I feel like that's kind of weird. Maybe I'd have liked it better if they just kind of like, you know, so like the last one wasn't true, or I don't know, something along those lines. I feel like it's a bit much just throw out everything that ever happened, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really like that idea. Especially Halloween 2 is cool. It takes place like the night after, and you know, it's fun. Yeah, I guess supposedly it's something like he's being transferred. He's just like kind of a, you know, aging psychopath, and he's being transferred. Not quite sure why you don't wait till, you know, November 1st to transfer Michael Myers, but hey, whatever, that's fine. It just seems like a good idea. I'm just saying. You know, like, oh, hey, we got to transfer Michael Myers. He's obsessed with Halloween and killing his sister. Like, can we bump this back to November 2nd? Just in case. Just in case. I think, like, the idea is, like, I heard that some journalists, like, kind of, like, wave the mask in front of him to try to, like, prompt him to get a story. And then he breaks out. And goes and tries to hunt his sister. And I guess, Jamie Lee Curtis is just kind of like this aging badass who wants Michael Myers to break out so she can kill him. Which I guess is cool, but I just don't see why it. I feel like when you do that, that's lazy filmmaking.
Sure.
When you say, "Oh, we're just going to cut out all the sequels," like to me, that's lazy filmmaking. It's kind of like going back to the comic books. It's kind of like when they reboot the comics. They just say like, "Oh no, we're resetting the universe." Like that's lazy. That's just you not wanting to deal with the things other writers did that you didn't care for.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on this, and I don't think you're wrong or anything like that. I think the justification, though, in any of this is that simply that Michael Myers has eclipsed the role of just a regular movie character. Or even a well-known movie character. I mean, Michael Myers, it doesn't matter if it's a scary movie, a dramatic movie, a comedy, whatever. Michael Myers is an iconic figure in American cinema. And I think that those iconic figures kind of just they play by their own rules. And yeah, I mean, the format of this movie is going to play with the psyche of some of the diehards out there. But you know what? If it sucks and it bombs out, then they're just going to do another one.
Right.
I mean, they're going to find some other way to either reboot the franchise or make it seem like this one never happened.
Sure. I just feel like it would have been easier and better for them to say, we were wrong. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't really die in Halloween Resurrection. Now she's back and she wants blood. And, I feel like there could have been a way to do this story or a very similar story without throwing out 30 years of Halloween watching.
And I don't even think, and like I said, I don't even think you're wrong. I think that, I like your ideas much more than what they decided to go with. But
oh, hey, I'm still gonna see it, man.
Yeah,
I'll still see it, and I'll probably dig it. I've liked them all. I really did. I mean, Halloween 3's ass, but that doesn't count. It's just a silly movie. It has nothing to do with them.
I see what they were trying to do.
They were thinking back in the 80s that Halloween would just be this kind of like strange franchise that like kept going, but like a serial type thing, like a daytime serial kind of like almost like the old radio dramas,
Have you ever seen any of the American Horror Stories?
No.
But that's what they were trying to do.
Right.
Like each season is a totally different story.
Exactly.
And and it didn't work out. And it was stupid. It was a stupid idea for what they were trying to do. Just because Michael Myers is such a cool character.
Right. And hey, they made the mistake once in Halloween 4, he comes right back.
Yeah.
It's just one. And Halloween 4 is cool. So where they gun him down with all the shotguns at the end. I love that one. Actually, that's one of my favorite ones. And hey, you get to the introduction of Paul Rudd. Is that Halloween 6? I think.
Oh, is it?
Paul Rudd's first movie is either 5 or 6.
That was Paul Rudd's first movie.
Yeah. It's like introducing Paul Allen Rudd.
He probably still look the same as he does now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He plays the character, the little boy who Jamie Lee Curtis is babysitting in the first Halloween. Paul Rudd plays that character, and he's like a late, in his late teens, and he saw this thing with Michael Myers, and he's obsessed with Michael Myers, and he's insisting that no, look, he's been tracking all this stuff. He's saying, no, I think he's gonna break out and try this again, and no one believes him, of course, and it's cool. It's good. I don't want to say they're good, but they're fun. I like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and H2O is great. LL Cool J.
What's your favorite? To you, what's maybe your favorite scary movie or the scariest scary movie you've of all time?
I love Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah, for
That's
sure
the
is.
scariest movie.
No,
though?
no, that's my favorite.
That's your
That's
favorite.
my favorite. Scariest, and maybe this is weird, maybe this is just me, but the one that just absolutely positively scared the shit out of me is The Ring.
The Ring.
Yes, that movie, like,
The first one.
yeah, and I was an adult. I mean, I was an adult. I was married at the time, and I remember seeing that movie and I was freaked the hell out when I saw that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my wife at the time actually like jumped out and like scared me after we watched that movie, and then she actually like apologized. She's like, "Holy shit! Like I really scared you." I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm just freaked out after seeing that movie." You know, but I would say it's The Ring. That was like one where I was like so uneasy after I saw that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was messed up for like a day.
I really don't know what my favorite scary movie is. I guess I really don't have a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
There's some out there that I think are scary as shit. One of them for me that is still scary, and they're actually doing a remake of this one is Pet Sematary. I think Pet Sematary is scary as shit.
Yeah.
There's one scene in particular with her her sister, who's all like deformed and
Oh, really?
she's got
yeah. I know. It's been some time, but
yeah, that scares the shit out of me.
I never saw the remake, but as a kid,
Well, the remake's coming out.
no,
still.
no, I'm talking about a different one. But it, as a kid, scared the hell out of me.
Okay.
As a kid, I haven't seen it as an adult. It's been years, and I didn't see the remake. But as a kid, it like scared the crap.
I've never seen
out of
any
me.
of it. I haven't.
Yeah, like I didn't even see all of it. I saw some of it, and then like my parents regretted letting me watch it on TV.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, scared shitless. Another one that I really like, and they're not that scary, but I really like the Scream movies.
Scream's good.
I like those. I like all three of them.
Yeah, they are good. I do like the Scream movies. What was another one I was going to mention too that I think is? But yeah, I'm with you on the Ring. The Ring is the first Ring is certainly I think that's a modern classic that people are going to look back on and say, that's one of those movies that maybe they look back on like maybe like a Halloween or something to some extent.
And like you mentioned Freddy and Jason, and I love Freddy and Jason as characters. They're cool, iconic characters, but the first Friday the 13th, or I'm sorry, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, great movie, scary as hell. I mean, that is a scary movie and it's cool, but the sequels they're garbage, man. They might be fun to watch if you love Freddy Krueger, but they have not made a decent sequel to that.
I like the characters themselves, like the standalone characters.
Right.
Like, Jason's a badass with the mask on, the hockey mask, and the machete. I mean, that's a badass character.
To me, the Friday the 13th sequels are much better, and they're shitty to some degree. They're more like funny and kind of laughable, but they're better than the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels.
You know what kind of ruins the Freddy movies for me, and this is gonna be stupid as hell. There's that one meme that you shared of that guy dressed as Freddy Krueger where he's like sitting there. He's what is it? He's like he spent so many times chasing each other, or yeah. What was it? I'm gonna bring it up. Go ahead.
No, but what's weird, of course, about the the Jason movies, the Friday the 13th movies, is that we're talking about how the sequels are kind of crap, but Jason's actually technically not in the first one.
No, he's not. It's his mom.
Yeah, I mean it's Jason. It's Mrs. Voorhees is the bad guy in Friday the 13th, which is a really good movie.
Been chasing people in their dreams so long, I forgot to chase my own. There's that guy, like at a Comic-Con or something, in cosplay, and he's sitting there kneeling down,
like
smoking a cigarette.
It is Freddy Krueger thing, So great. Yeah. When it was been chasing people in their dreams so long, I forgot to chase my own. Turn your memes into dreams. That is hilarious.
How do you feel about like the ones that are supposed to make it look like they're shot like on a video camera,
like Blair Witch.
like Blair Witch, and because you know what, I think Blair Witch is
First one's alright.
I thought that the second one is
one of the worst movies ever made.
Yes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I love the first Blair Witch.
Yeah, it's cool.
I thought it was scary as shit.
Yeah.
And what was the other ones that they came out with?
Like Cloverfield.
There's Clover. You know, I've never actually seen Cloverfield. What was the other one though?
I don't know. I don't know which one you mean.
No, it's like it was like they did like a whole.
You talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
No.
Okay. Because that's what I'm not a big fan of, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing.
You're not?
No, they honestly, they just kind of gross me out without being like that scary. And I don't really like I don't like the Saw movies either.
I wasn't a fan of the Saw movies, but the remake with Jessica Biel and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't
was a good
bad.
one.
No, I actually kind of liked that. I thought for a second there you were mentioning the movie, The Remake, which is a movie that my ex-wife was in.
Oh, really?
A B like horror movie.
No.
Yeah, it's halfway watchable, if you really want to like go deep into the, horror movie things. Of the B movies, my ex-wife was in that's a good one. I kind of like that one. The remake.
The one I was thinking of, Paranormal Activity.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I dug Paranormal Activity. I thought that one was very well made. Well, the first one especially, very well made. The third one is actually really good too. Kind of the prequel to the.
What's that called? What's that one called?
What is it?
No, those are good. Those are cool. Do you know what else was good? The ones that are like very loosely based on those the exorcists for the Catholic Church.
Well, Exorcist is loosely based on a true story,
right? But the with the doll and everything.
Oh, The Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
That's a cool
Those
movie.
are that is. I want to see the new one, The Nun, that came out.
Yeah. And then the other one's about the doll that they show briefly in The Conjuring. Then they make a prequel to it.
That goes back. They draw
Annabelle, right?
Yeah, Annabelle. They draw that in. Yeah, from Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Raggedy Ann doll, like the real one, is supposedly cursed, and it's locked.
Really?
Yeah, and it's locked up in like some safe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, creepy looking doll.
That couple that's in those they're based. Those are real people.
That's based on a real couple.
They're the only non-clergy who are, what's it called? Like verified by the Catholic Church as exorcists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like there's very few exorcists anymore. Anyway, that's kind of the thing the Catholic Church has gone away from, but it does still exist.
It does.
And there are priests who are very few, but there are a handful of priests who are, for the most part, the Catholic Church kind of, even when you say, hey, I need an exorcism, they're like,
no, you don't.
Yeah, no, cut it out. But there's a handful of priests that are for it, and those two, that couple, are the only non-clergy who are.
Would you want to sit in an exorcism?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just kind of see what it's about?
Yeah. Because, I mean, I actually really like the Catholic Church's stance on it right now.
What's their
stance?
Where
their stance, kind of unofficially, is like, no, this isn't a thing for the most part. It's nonsense. But it is real and it does exist. And we do have a couple people who,
Well, they have procedure, too,
right.
for it.
Like
actual procedure.
Like, they're like, no, in the right situation, we do still believe that you can be possessed by Satan and that we can help you get it out. But for the most part, if you say this, you're probably just crazy or just a real a-hole or something along those lines. You're probably not possessed by a demon. But if you are, we got a couple of guys.
Do you think the Pope has ever seen The Exorcist?
I don't know. The movie?
Yeah.
I bet he has.
Yeah. Do you think they just have like movie night and just like kind of...
I hope so.
Maybe sitting there and watch The Exorcist.
I hope that they're not that stiff.
Or maybe like The Prophecy or something like that.
Like I hope they're like not that stiff. I hope that like priests and like bishops and popes, like I hope they've seen Vampires. You ever seen that one?
No.
Oh, Vampires is a great
No.
movie, man. With James, what's his name? Shit.
I don't know.
John Carpenter's Vampires. Fairly famous actor in there. Look me up. What you got?
Oh, I'm not looking it up.
Oh.
I'm seeing something else.
Oh, okay. The John Carpenter's Vampires is with one of the Baldwins and James something. What the?
Hold on.
He plays Jack Crow in the movie, but they're basically a secret group of vampire killers sent by the Vatican.
Oh, James Woods is in it.
James Woods, yeah.
That guy's a fucking tool.
Yeah, he's good in that movie though, man. As Jack Crow.
You know what movie I'd like?
That's a cool ass movie, dude. You should watch Vampires.
Ed was talking about that one movie last week, that vampire movie. What was it called?
Oh,
It's not a scary movie.
right. It's more about they really have taken over. It's like more of a social commentary.
Yeah, with who's Dr. Grant? What's his name?
Sam Neill.
Yeah, Sam Neill.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Those are cool. Kind of like those ones in, is it 40 Days of Night or something like that? The one where they're in Alaska.
I think so.
That's,
Daybreakers, that's what it was.
Okay, Daybreakers. Yeah, that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I like the one where they're in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 40 Days of Night or something like that, where, you have that time in Alaska where there's no sun for, where it's basically nighttime for like an entire season. The sun never comes up, so vampires decide to show up in that town. I'm like, hey, we'll just take this area over because we can actually be doing our thing 24 hours a day for a while. So there's no break from the vampires, basically, in this little town in Alaska. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool movie.
How do you feel about the Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Oh man, it's been so long. I don't.
It was on the other day. I like it.
Yeah,
I do.
I probably would. I should definitely see that. Dude, you should see the John Carpenter's Vampires, though.
Yeah, I'll see it.
And then there's a sequel to it with Bon Jovi in it.
Oh,
I kind of like it, though.
But Anthony Hopkins and Bram Stoker's Dracula plays Van Helsing.
That's cool.
And it's awesome. Like, you almost want that. I mean, obviously, he's too old to do any Van Helsing movie now, but I kind of wanted to see like a prequel or something, or some type of spin-off with Anthony Hopkins playing a Van Helsing.
I still can't believe that what's his name went on to have a successful career and become Wolverine after he made that Van Helsing movie, which was
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. I mean that Van Helsing movie that Hugh Jackman made should have ruined his career. And luckily they gave him a second chance and he was so great as Wolverine later. But that should have ruined anybody's career. That movie is so bad.
Well, he was so awesome at Wolverine.
Right. But he did Van Helsing first though.
Did he?
Yes. He did that first. Like that should have
the first X-Men didn't come out before
I
that
don't think
movie?
so. I don't think so.
Check on that.
But that should have ruined his career. And luckily for him, it didn't. Luckily for all of us, because I really like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, can you imagine Wolverine without played by Hugh Jackman?
No, I can't. They need to bring that shit into the
Okay,
Avengers.
they came out in 2004.
What did?
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. And when did the first X-Men come out? It was after that, wasn't it?
No. 2000.
Oh, wasn't it? Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, so he had already solidified himself as Wolverine.
Yep.
Good for him. Lucky for all of us. Because that Van Helsing movie is ass.
You know what, though? I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't really like the first X-Men movie.
I liked it when it came out, though.
I liked it when it came out, but the sequels to it...
They're kind of rough.
No, I'm saying there were sequels to it that were just better.
Right, but even those first, 3 are kind of like, okay. And then the ones that came out later, the First Class and all this stuff, when they branched out, that's when it got really good.
Last Stand is good.
You think so?
Yeah, I like Last Stand.
No, that's all right.
I mean, we'll really do those movies.
Is that the second one or the third one?
Third one.
Yeah.
No, you don't like it?
No, I don't like that one. If anything, I kind of like the second one.
United or whatever.
I think so,
United,
yeah.
or the Brotherhood.
Although I do love Ian McKellen as Magneto, though.
Ian McKellen is Magneto, and then Patrick Stewart is Professor
Right.
X.
No, I do
those,
love those.
I mean, those guys are so synonymous with those
Yeah.
characters as well. I mean,
Right.
when you think of,
I kind of like what they did with the Deadpool movies, where they kind of like solidify it all, but also kind of make fun of it, and
Yeah.
then like I feel like that really worked.
but that's Deadpool though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that's how he was. They really stayed true to that character.
Mm-hmm.
That's how his comic was. Comic kind of made fun of stuff.
Do you want to see that? I mean, kind of sticking with the Halloween theme here, though. Would you ever want them to do like a, like a Black Lantern type of movie?
I think that might be cool.
Yeah.
It might be cool. Yeah, the almost like zombie DC characters.
Yeah.
Like cosmic zombies.
I mean,
if
they'll
you will.
never do it, but
Right. Well, the thing is, I mean, DC just never has been able to solidify a movie universe. They've had some good movies, they've had some crappy movies, but they've just never been able to solidify that. The DC movie universe.
mm-hmm.
And you need that. You need that well established before you.
Does Marvel have any type of equivalent to that?
They Marvel had a whole big series, the Marvel Zombies, or it was they all became zombies. Even Galactus became a zombie.
Which doesn't make sense, but
yeah. Well, I believe it was Galactus ate a bunch of zombies, and then he became a zombie type thing. So they did the Marvel Zombies was a huge thing outside of a big alternate universe where the entire thing was taken over by zombies. There was just a handful of characters who weren't zombies, later, and then to tie back to Deadpool. Deadpool later then combined all his universes and had the Deadpool core, and one of the people in Deadpool core was Headpool, which was just the head of the floating disembodied head of zombie Deadpool. It's kind of floating around, cracking jokes.
Well,
and
there's
stuff.
some guys that can't be zombies. Deadpool can't be a zombie.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
it doesn't make sense. He can't die.
Right. And that's why his the head of zombie Deadpool is just floating around because he's they cut his head off, but the zombie head is still alive because he was never really dead, and just
Wolverine can't be a zombie either.
yeah, he really shouldn't be able to be. I mean, but is it for sure that Wolverine and Deadpool can't die, or are they just really, really, really hard to kill? I guess that's the question.
Okay, well, if you cut off Deadpool's head, he's a zombie then.
Yeah.
Or he
I
dies.
guess. Yeah.
And same thing with
Wolverine.
Same thing with Wolverine.
Well, I mean, in that case, it's true, I guess, because only Deadpool's head was the zombie.
I mean, but in X-Men 3, Wolverine withstands Dark Phoenix.
Right. Which was a bit much, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's the only one that can kill her.
Yeah. So sad. Do you know what my favorite Famke Janssen movie is?
What's
Speaking
that?
of the chick who plays Jean Grey, who she's gorgeous too. I like
The Taken
her.
movies?
No, I like The Faculty. Ever seen that old movie?
Yeah.
I love that movie. Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett, Lilith from Frasier.
I forgot she's in that movie.
Love that movie. Absolutely love that movie. Great, horror action 90s movie. Guaranteed to jack you up, man. love that movie. All right. This is not a horror movie, but coming out soon. Have you seen the trailers for the new Bumblebee movie?
No. You brought this up, and I didn't even know what the fuck Bumblebee was.
Okay. So, the Transformers movies come out. They're kind of cool visually at first, but, I'm pretty sure J.J. Abrams is... Or no, not J.J. Abrams, is it? Michael Bay. Michael Bay, I think, is... just taken Transformers and just bled that dry. And I've been pretty much done with the whole Transformer thing. As soon as they tried to sell me as Mark Wahlberg as an intelligent person, I was just... I mean, you can make him, like, beefy and hunky and cute and all that stuff, but, like, Mark Wahlberg's...
I love Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I do too, but, like, him as a genius scientist...
That's kind of pushing it.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. No, he's scrumptious, man. He's a good-looking dude. I mean, his arms are bigger than, like, my whole body. I mean, that's great. That's great, but he ain't smart, though. Trying to sell me as Mark Wahlberg being smart. Revives Optimus Prime and shit, whatever. But this new Bumblebee movie, I'm like, all right, this is so dumb. They wrecked Bumblebee, and Bumblebee was the worst character in the old cartoon. He was he was the Jar Jar Binks of the cartoon back then. So I'm like, okay, why are they trying to sell me on a Bumblebee spin-off movie? And then I see the trailer. Dude, it's all the cool shit from the old cartoon. It's all of, like, they really look like they're supposed to. It's what we wanted. It's what all us nerds wanted with that first Michael Bay movie. I mean, it's old school looking Optimus Prime. They show Shockwave. They show Soundwave, and he's actually got cassettes. Soundwave, he's spitting cassettes out of his chest. Ravage in the trailer, dude. It's gonna be awesome. I am so looking forward to this movie.
No, I think, and that's good. That's good that they were kind of making something. That they are making something true to the origins and the roots of the
traditional Soundwave was like one of the coolest characters ever, man. Mm-hmm. Spitting the cassettes out. I still have that like right on top of my bookshelf at home. G1 Soundwave and the tapes chilling on my bookshelf right now. I don't know, man. I am on board with this Bumblebee movie. It's like the classic. They show Starscream. He looks like Starscream, like right out of the cartoon. Like it's just like, damn, that's what I wanted all along. So gotta do it. Gotta watch the.
When does this one come out?
I don't know. Pretty soon. I mean, they just launched like the official trailer where they're showing the cool stuff. But I don't know, man. I think it looks cool. I've heard some people hating on it, but it's just
because it's Bumblebee.
Yeah, but dude, it's just straight up 80s Transformers, right off the cartoon, man. That's like, and they show Shockwave. He really looks like Shockwave. They show Soundwave. He really looks like Soundwave. Starscream, Optimus Prime. They just look like they did in the old show. That's all I wanted, man. That's what I wanted all along. But I'm on board with it, dude. Anything else you want to say about movies? Scary movies?
No.
Old movies? No?
No.
Dude, so did you buy your Mega Millions tickets?
I didn't buy one, no.
You didn't buy your Mega Millions ticket?
No, I didn't buy one. I should have, but...
Dude, why not?
I don't know. I just didn't... I didn't think of it, and...
So what, it's $1.6 billion, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing?
I'm just counting on you winning it, so...
Dude, then this show's gonna be legit.
I can just mooch off of you.
Yeah, and you can too. You absolutely can.
Cool.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna buy you all the cool shit. It's gonna be awesome. But dude, it's just got me thinking, this whole lottery thing. Is this like the ultimate like statist scam that like just this is like such a scam? But okay, like if you look at like all like the Illuminati stuff I go crazy talking about sometimes, and the globalist agenda and the big government taking over and all this stuff. If this were to be one of the globalist big government scams, this is one that works so good. Like, it just works so amazingly good because we all know that the lottery is just an absolute ripoff. Mm-hmm. You have a better chance of getting struck by lightning twice in the same day. You have a better chance of dying in a car accident on the way home from the gas station than you do of actually winning the lottery ticket you just bought. But it brings such joy, man. It really does. Even to the people that don't win, to me it brings so much happiness and joy. This idea that you could win this lottery.
Well, that's the fun. I mean, because you and I were discussing it on the way over here
Yeah.
tonight. That the fun part is sitting there talking about what you would do with
Right.
with all the money if you did win.
Yeah, I mean, I went out to lunch with the guys. We kind of worked late yesterday for the day job, and then went out to lunch because we worked through lunch, so just kind of like, oh man, let's go grab a burger somewhere. We pop into this little establishment, and there's just these people at the table next to us, just talking about all the things we're gonna do for each other when they win the lottery. And we had just got off. Well, while we were at work, we're having a similar conversation. You're just hearing all these people talk about what they're gonna do, and it just brings a happiness where you're like, God, it'd be so cool. This is what I'm gonna do. Oh man, you already got your whole life planned out for what you're gonna do when you win the lottery tomorrow, knowing that you're not really gonna win the lottery tomorrow. Yeah. That's not gonna happen. But it just kind of got me thinking, like, is this the state? Is this the government, in essence, trying to be God? I mean, is this too dissimilar from what like religion did way back in the day when they told you, hey, I know this life sucks, but just stay with it, be good, and you'll have a kingdom in heaven, so it's all good. Just keep going. And I feel like the state offers you one better, right? Say, you don't have to wait for heaven. There is a chance.
You can get it here.
You get it right here. You can have it all right here. Where, before, in the 1600s, or even today, you would be thinking, oh, we know for a fact that every once in a while God just blesses somebody with a magnificent life. That could be me tomorrow.
Well, it's so tempting because what's the lottery ticket? $1?
Yeah, $2.
$2. So $2, and you have a chance to win this time around $1 billion plus.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that old, or not. It's not old, but that if I just get $1 from every person that I meet,
right?
From now until the end of the year, how well off would I be?
Sure.
I mean, that's kind of the government saying, they're tempting you with this huge pot, and they're saying, all you gotta do is give us $1, give us $2.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's $2.
Right.
$2, and you have a chance to get all of this. All of it.
You're set for life. Your family's set for life.
Yep.
Your friends are set for life. Your children are set for life. You never have to worry about anything
and
ever.
The thing is even if you don't win it, it's not like you're put back.
No,
because it's only $2 you're spending. It's
right.
not like going to a casino and losing thousands of dollars.
Right. Right.
Because you're trying to make your money back or anything like that. No, this is just $2 you're forking over.
I mean, truthfully, you're foolish to play the lottery. It's just gambling, and the odds are terrible. But aren't you foolish to not play it too? When you had a chance, no matter how minute, no matter how trivial, you have a chance for $1.6 billion. A chance to, now you, your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, your kids are set for life. You live the best possible life on earth. What? It's gonna cost you $2.
Is that the next form of like the state forcing you to play the lottery? Is it some type of neglect, like family neglect? If you don't play the lottery, then you are neglecting your family and a chance at a life that is totally set and free of worry.
I feel like part of it is like a brainwashing into state worship.
You're such a statist, Josh.
No, I'm an anti-statist. They're brainwashing me.
You're playing.
I did play it though. I played it. What are you gonna do? You have to, right? You got to. How can you not? But then it brings this happiness just thinking about it. And so then, then my mind goes into really weird places, and you think, because your whole reasoning is, hey, I know the odds are ridiculously bad, but somebody wins it, right? Somebody's got to win it, so it might be me. So you think, well, okay, if somebody's got to win it, we all know that somebody wins it, right? We see them on the news and all this stuff, but then I start to wonder, do we really know that somebody wins it? Do we actually know that somebody wins this big jackpot? Because it would be, of all the things that conspiracy theorists believe, this scam would be relatively easy. Where are all these lottery winners? Sure, yeah, they're out there maybe. You can Google it. But these lottery winners, somebody wins. I know this is the biggest jackpot in history with the 1.6 billion, but somebody wins $300 million. How come they're not an instant celebrity?
I mean, they don't want to be.
They probably don't, and I get that.
Because I remember the first thing that I told you that I said I would do is I would hire a lawyer and a financial advisor.
But then after the fact, okay, so you hired the lawyer, the financial advisor. Now you're really rich. How come we never hear about these people like we do the Kardashians?
Well, because the Kardashians are attention whores.
Okay, but why aren't these people attention whores?
They don't want to be.
But somebody wins every week, man.
Okay, well, you have to offer something in order to essentially be a celebrity with staying power. You have to offer something that's going to be...
But nobody's ever done it? Nobody with staying power or something to offer has ever won?
Because it seems like most of the people that win this are just regular, run-of-the-day people. I mean, what do they have to offer that's going to be...
I don't know.
That's going to be appealing to the rest of the public, other than that they won a shit ton of money. Probably nothing. Well, then you're answering your own question.
No, but I'm not, because what does Paris Hilton have to offer? What do the Kardashians have to offer? Other than they made themselves famous by being rich.
But they kept on doing things afterwards that kept them in the spotlight, whether it's marrying a rapper, initially having a sex tape, or not to say you ever hear a whole bunch of Paris Hilton anymore, because you really don't.
But you did for a minute.
You did for a minute, just because she was a total train wreck.
True. I wonder. I know it's a stretch, but think for a second. Pretend it was all bullshit.
What, the lottery?
Yeah. It was all nonsense.
I'm not saying that the lottery is total bullshit, because I
don't think it is either.
I do agree with you in a sense that it is manipulated, and that they keep on upping the ante to get more people to play. I think that is certainly true, but I do think that there's a winner in the end.
I, for the most part, do too. But pretend like that this is a big scam. And then they pull aside some random person and say, hey, here's the deal. You didn't win the lottery. Nobody actually wins the lottery. Here's $1 million. Here's $1 million. Now you go on TV for a day or a week and tell everyone that you were the big winner. And we'll give you $1 million free and clear. And they just net the rest of this shit. They net the rest of it. I mean... You do it, wouldn't you? I do it. Nobody hates this stuff more than me. Nobody wants to expose more than me, but I do it in a second. If they said, hey, go pretend you're the lottery winner. Here's $1 million. Go pretend go give a couple interviews, pretend like you won the lottery, and then disappear.
The way that I mean, it's a fun theory to think about. Fun in the sense that it's like, what else is the government up to? But I don't think any of that is possible. And do I think the government? Do I think that they would do something like that if they knew they can get away with it? Yes, I do. But I think that's just the thing. Is if that was actually the case, if that were to ever leak out, there would be. The backlash over something like that would be...
Would there be, though?
Yeah, there would be. There would be.
Oh, jeez. I
There
feel
would
like that's
be.
just another thing that people would say, oh, they'll take to the streets, then we wouldn't.
And but also the thing is too is think about how many big lottery winners there have been. There have been a lot of them. If something like that were to happen, then you think about all the leaks now, all the leaks that come out from the White House or wherever, supposedly leak-free places. Even if they did offer somebody, here's $1 million, don't say anything ever again, something will eventually come out.
But where are all of them?
What do you mean, where are all of them? Where are all the people that win? Just enjoying their million, enjoying their money.
We can't name one name off the top of our head.
No,
I mean,
because,
dude.
No, because the lottery, it happens so often. These people win so often that...
Dude, I would have such a killer podcast, though, if this happened. And people would know my name.
Okay, well, people might know your name, but I mean...
And no one else out there is like me or you?
Well, maybe they are. Maybe they are. But how big would anybody be? How big would we be if we ended up... I mean, in this sense right now, if we won... If you won the latest jackpot, or if I wanted to go out and buy a ticket and I won the latest jackpot, I mean, yeah, we could put a bunch of money into something, but this is something that we like to do. This is something that interests us.
Right.
I mean,
but everybody and their grandma's got a podcast these days.
Yeah,
none of these lottery winners decide to be like, hey, I'm gonna be bigger than Joe Rogan show starting tomorrow. Boom. Here's 15 million bucks. Let's rock this shit.
You need staying power, though. You need personality. There's much more that goes into being famous than just having a shit ton of money.
Hey,
because there's plenty of rich people out there that aren't famous.
True, but that to me is evidence that it could potentially be fixed. The idea that every person that wins doesn't have personality, doesn't have an agenda.
I never said that it wasn't fixed.
I mean, it seems like they want to give it to people who will just go crazy, hey, here you go, man.
But what it essentially
have some money, go drink yourself to death.
What it essentially is like giving a dog a treat after that you told him to sit.
Right.
That's what this is, and that's what a jackpot.
Nobody's ever run for office.
That's what a jackpot really is too, because you know what, the government gets all the money that is spent from these lottery tickets, and then they on top of that they tax the winnings.
Oh yeah, big time.
So that's it's almost
no, they give out money and then they tax it as income.
But that's the thing though, is it's almost the government's almost stealing from itself if they don't give out the winnings. Because they're making all the money off these lottery tickets, then they're gonna go and take their share of what they're giving out too.
Yeah, but then they get 100% of it instead of 40% of it.
Yeah, but
no, that it is a good point though. You did just make a really good point. No, it's a great scam, but hey, it does bring happiness though.
It does
for sure.
No, it does. That's an extremely fun thing to talk. I already talked about what I was gonna do. I would hire an accountant, I would hire a lawyer, and I would go on vacation for like the next 2 weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah.
I'd be living it up right in like Maui or something.
They actually, there's like advisors out there. They actually tell you that if you win the lottery, if you win the big one, like don't go back to your house.
Sell it.
Well, you can go back there someday if you want,
if
you like it, or someday when you got to sell it or something. But just don't go home. That there's.
I'd probably rent my house out.
Yeah, just, get your winnings and go. Just go immediately to like some sort of hotel or something, somewhere off the beaten path. But don't go home. They're gonna be waiting for you. The media,
people you don't want to see.
Yeah, hangers on. They're gonna be there. So just, don't go home.
No, that's probably very sound advice.
Yeah,
and I trust that too. And I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, no.
I'd probably hire a bunch of movers. get my shit to my new pad.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rent my place out though.
My place, like I don't even own my place. You know that. I'm living in an apartment right now. So I would, in the meantime, I would pay my apartment off for like a year and a half. I don't want to live there anymore. But just for security, like I don't even want to I don't want to worry about having to move it out like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just like pay it off for like a year and a half. I'm just like, yeah, here, place is paid off, and then you just have this place and then in 2 months or whatever, you can have somebody go through if there's any crap in there you actually want. Then go get it, But that's what I would do. And plus, you want to get yourself the perfect place, so you want to have a place to sleep or something.
Oh my God, I wouldn't go crazy. I'd probably have a place on both coasts, and then a place here.
Right on. Well, yeah, I mean, we still have the podcast, operating out of Detroit.
We'd be here.
Well, you're not going to live here anymore.
Yeah, I'm not going to live here anymore.
We can convert the entire place into theempiremedia.com.
Yep.
See, here we are. We're live on air.
We're talking about
doing exactly what we're,
Let's say, well, if you win, we'll probably be off for the next couple of weeks, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but not that long though. I mean, there's stuff to do here at the Empire Media. We're going to be right back on it. We're going to be back on the air sooner rather than later.
Okay. That's cool.
But hey, it's fun to think about,
It's extremely fun to think about.
But do you know what's not so fun to think about?
What's that?
Current events and news. Do we have a news section tonight?
We do. Couple of things to start off with here. Sandra Day O'Connor, former Justice of the Supreme Court. I believe she retired in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Was a Reagan. I think the Reagan's first appointed Justice of the Supreme Court. Announced today that she has dementia and probably Alzheimer's. So sad news to hear. She was the first woman too.
Yes, she was.
To be nominated and sit on the U.S. Supreme Court.
And this is a person that, because these are my views, and I will, in the act of fairness, point this out. I've criticized her in the past for resigning because I disagree with resignation from a position that is for life. But now we are saying that, she definitely wouldn't be able to carry out the her duties at this point.
So you think at this point it would be okay if she resigned?
Well, I've said before on the show that I do not think they should ever resign, ever. But if you aren't capable, then you should recuse yourself from cases.
So she'd just be recusing.
Yes. Yeah, and
so kind of like what John McCain did when he was
the court would function with 10 justices, or 9, or 8, or 7, or 6, or whatever. It's actually It's actually supposed to be less than that anyway, so that's fine, But yeah, I do. But if she were to resign right now, that I could get behind that a lot more than her resigning a decade ago.
Okay.
And I like her though. I do. I feel bad now for her and her family, and I like her as an individual, and I liked her as a justice a lot, actually. A lot. She was a brilliant woman. It's more the system I criticize, the present day system I criticize than her as an individual. I see why she did it, but I still don't like it.
NBC Today anchor Megyn Kelly caught some heat today when she was defending blackface in Halloween costumes. She got it on social media. She was she asked a very, very, I called it what did I call it?
Dress like a moron.
Yeah.
But what is racist? Because truly, you do get in trouble if you are a white person who puts on blackface for Halloween, or a black person who puts on whiteface for Halloween. Like back when I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing up as like a character.
If somebody feels like something is offensive to them, then you should say it, and that's fair game, and you should be able to take it if you're going to.
Okay, the thing is that Megyn Kelly is what, early 40s,
something like that, yeah.
Blackface,
but late 40s or something.
No, not late 40s. Say maybe early 40s.
She looks great. She's a beautiful woman, and I feel like she's not much older than me, but I know how long she's been on TV, and I know that she was a Supreme Court clerk before that.
I have
And
a computer right here. Oh, you're right. Late 40s, 47 years old.
okay, yeah, I just know what her credentials were before she was on Fox News, and that's been some time. So
Okay,
she's got to be like good 10 years older than us, or around 10 years older.
I know there's probably some people out there, wondering what's the big deal about blackface.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's in the roots of it.
Right.
You know what? Go and read about old school, early 1900s entertainment when they would use blackface, and
It was created to make fun of black people.
yes, and the racist roots that it was birthed out of. That's the problem with blackface. It promotes a stereotype, and I don't think you need too much explanation on why it's not good.
I don't either. With that being said, I actually don't think that like Halloween's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be kind of like edgy.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody wants to do a costume that's edgy, fine. Go ahead and do it. Like I actually
an offensive costume.
yeah, if you want to do an offensive costume, I don't care. Fine. Do it and laugh it off and go to a Halloween party. And for the eternally butthurt world we live in now, just get over it. I don't think somebody's evil because they dress up like Hitler or something at a costume. I don't, but yes, it is offensive. If you're doing it, do it knowing you are being an offensive prick, okay? You are doing something that is offensive, and yes, but don't wear a blackface costume and pretend like there's no racist overtones to it.
Right.
There is. There absolutely are. I mean, you're.
No, it is. I mean, go. I mean, it's on the same line. I mean, you go and you look at some of these old cartoons too that that helped push that stereotype. I know. What do they call them? There's like 11 or 13 banned cartoons that they will not show like basically ever again. They're locked up, and some of them are the Merry Melodies, some of them are Disney. I think one of them is called Inky, and it's basically like this little like African tribesman or something that just promotes the big lips, the dark skin,
right.
Throwing the spears. I mean,
they're mean.
Oh, they're horrible.
They're mean.
They're horrible.
Personally, I loathe censorship in any form, so I don't like those to be out there, and then from then
for them to be locked up.
Yeah, so and then it's gotten worse.
Well, it's not like what today though. It's not even like they're locked up anymore because you can go on YouTube and watch them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Good point. I mean, they're not allowed to show the Speedy Gonzales cartoons anymore.
But they don't show any old cartoons,
but they stopped that a while ago. They on the DVDs that you could buy. They don't show the Speedy Gonzales. I didn't think that was racist against Mexican people. Speedy Gonzales was cool. I mean, he was cool. Well, actually, I take it back. They'll show the Speedy Gonzales ones. What they won't show are the ones, you remember his cousin?
Slowpoke Rodriguez?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, they won't show the ones with that because it made the they pretend like that's saying that Mexican people were lazy. But that's not true because they're showing that Speedy Gonzales is fast and
he's Mexican,
a go-getter, and he has a cousin who's a slow dope. That wasn't like, to me, but whatever.
Did you ever see that South Park where they go to the Museum of Tolerance?
No.
And it shows like a bunch of wax like sculptures of like stereotypes. It shows like a Jew who's like greedy, and an Asian with a calculator, and then Stan's dad's walk, and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" He's like, "Oh, I get it. It's the traditional sleepy Mexican," and it's this Mexican guy like kind of like sitting down sleeping, and he wakes up. He's like, "No, man." He's like, He's like, I'm not a sculptor. I'm the janitor. I was just so sleepy. I was so tired.
That's awesome.
But she has since apologized for what she said, asking what is racism and her defense of it. And we move on.
Am I the only one that's so sick of like feigned apologies though? I just
what, the
wish
forced apologies?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, I'm so done with people apologizing after their comments were deemed to be offensive. I really I actually wish I would rally behind anyone, even if I didn't agree with them, who just said like, hey, I was just talking. I'm not gonna apologize for my words. You know, I mean, I'm glad nobody like picks apart our show like this because I mean, I think we take pretty decent stances on things, but I'm sure that after 10 years of podcasting, there's a whole bunch of junk they could find that me and you said that they would find offensive, and I like to think that I would just say, like, hey, look at my entire body of work, and you know, I don't.
Oh wow, you're even a bigger asshole than I thought.
Yeah, maybe I would be, but I just you know, you should be able to make a comment and have people disagree with it, and in some sense, without having to apologize for everything you said. Just my opinion, though.
What else do we have here?
Sorry if it offended.
Josh, we haven't really discussed we haven't discussed it all really. The murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi, and just the investigation that is undergoing right now.
Mm-hmm.
He was murdered at the Saudi consulate in Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkish government pretty much called it out from the very beginning that this was a murder. Which to me, it's kind of ironic that the Turkish government is sitting there talking about the murder of a journalist and wanting to get to the bottom of it. When how many journalists have they? Probably killed.
They're not clean. They're not clean.
But in this sense, right now they are working to help.
Well,
get to the bottom of this. But
sometimes when you're guilty of stuff, I mean, seriously though, sometimes when you're guilty of things and somebody else does it, and you are notorious for being guilty, you're sometimes going to be one of the first people that says like, "Hey, this one wasn't us."
And we know this is bullshit because we've done this before ourselves.
Right.
It's like Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
When, they go to the serial killer to help catch a serial killer.
Right. It is. And it's also kind of like this. It's like when the nasty penalty happens in football. And the guy who's leading the league in penalties is kind of like, whoa, no, it was him. It was, where he's like, hey, this, I know that you want to look at me, but it wasn't me this time, and that's legit, in some ways that's kind of legit.
You know what the thing is too is that Jamal Khashoggi was a big time critic, time critic of the Saudi royal family,
and they do a lot to be criticized.
Yeah, absolutely. The Saudi royal family. First of all, Saudi Arabia is, I think, one of 3 absolute monarchies still in power in the world. I think it's the Saudi royal family. Country in Africa, I can't remember what country it is though. It's not Ethiopia. It might be Tanzania, I think.
Okay.
There's one other one.
Well, there's North Korea.
Well, that's not an absolute monarchy.
Okay. Well, are they counting San Marino?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. San Marino is a tiny, tiny country completely inside the borders of Italy.
Oh, Vatican.
Okay, and the Vatican.
Those are the 3.
They should count San Marino probably too.
Okay.
Because it is an actual kingdom, but it's so tiny,
Josh, we had some people questioning because there's a picture that surfaced today of Jamal Khashoggi's family meeting with they call him MBS, Mohammed bin Salam. He is the crown prince that allegedly ordered the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. And again, all you have to do is connect the dots to this and see that, yes, it was the Saudi royal family and probably this crown prince that ordered the killing of this guy.
They were directly involved, yeah.
Yes. Because these guys, the guys that killed him, they don't go over there. They don't go to Turkey and just decide they want to kill this guy. They want to lure this guy to the consulate and kill him. They don't do that without any direct order from somebody above them.
As I was starting to mention to you off air, Adam, the only thing I feel like they have to hide behind it all here is the idea that they can maybe in their, like, honestly say, no, we did not order the killing of this person, because I don't believe they ordered this person to be killed. They ordered him to be tortured, terribly tortured, and then he died in the process.
Then he died.
So when you take on the action of, yeah, we're the type of people that torture people in horrible and disgusting ways, sometimes people die from that. Sometimes you don't survive the torture. And from the evidence I've seen, that's what happened here. I don't know that they wanted to kill him, but they did kill him after they tortured the hell out of this poor individual.
And it's quite funny too, Josh, because we had somebody comment on that picture that we saw, which the guy is his son Salah is meeting with the crown prince, and you could tell by his face he does not want to meet this dirtbag.
Sure.
He's meeting the guy that probably ordered the killing of his father.
Yeah.
And one thing of note here too, his son is not allowed to leave Saudi Arabia.
No, of course not.
He's on a travel ban right now. Now, we had one lady sit there comment who said he was being forced and who said that the prince was behind the murder of his father. It's all speculation at the moment until there's some real proof. She goes on to say, what dots? The one planted there? They are framing this prince because he wants to modernize Saudi Arabia, and the old guard princes don't want that. They're the same ones who donated to the witch Hillary and helped plan 9/11, which is why they were arrested. You join the dots, but the correct dots. I think she said you connect the dots, the correct, whatever. Okay, but even
why are people sticking up for this?
I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? You know what the bottom line is?
A journalist is dead. That's the main thing that
that's
people should
exactly,
be concerned
Josh. The bottom line is that journalists who criticize the Saudi government time and time again, something that he should be able to do, that's part of the media's job, is to criticize.
Right.
Is to question. He is dead. It doesn't matter if he was killed by this crown prince or one of the other Saudi princes. He was still killed probably by the government of Saudi Arabia for being a critic of them.
Yeah.
And you know what, Josh, too? The United States, it is not just Donald Trump that's been buddy-buddy with Saudi Arabia.
Oh, they all have.
They all have been buddy-buddy and fluffing the nut of Saudi Arabia.
In fact, actually, Donald Trump far less than some of our past presidents.
I want to know, Josh, what is the difference between Saudi Arabia and just the worst country in the Middle East, Iran? What's the difference between the two?
What's the difference between them and North Korea?
Well, I mean, I guess people have a little bit more freedom. And
do they? Tell that to the females in Saudi Arabia.
Well, they now have the
they can
opportunity to drive.
They can drive. Congratulations.
But
women have been driving in North Korea for years.
We're somewhat friends now with North Korea, but
I'm not.
But seriously, what's the difference? Because we revoked the arms or the nuclear deal with Iran. What's the difference between Iran and Saudi Arabia?
Nothing, as far as I'm concerned.
I want to know that. I would love to tell people right now who are defending Saudi Arabia, okay, what's the real difference? Because you know what? You are conditioned right now to not like Iran, which you know what, it's fine because you know what, Iran isn't a good country.
Yeah, Iran sucks.
They're religiously backwards.
Yeah.
They oppress their own people. But what's the difference between them and, from a non-religious standpoint, what's the difference between...
Or from a religious one.
Well, as far as Islam goes, they're, one is a Shia and one is a Sunni.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that.
But that aside, what is the difference between Iran and Saudi Arabia?
No, none. But and the only reason I point out the religious thing is, okay, you're pointing out very justly, what is the difference as an American? What is the difference between Saudi Arabia and Iran? But I would just as easily point out, as a Christian, what is the difference between Saudi Arabia and Iran? As a Jew, what is the difference between Saudi Arabia and Iran? As a moderate, peace-loving American Muslim, what is the difference between Saudi Arabia and Iran? I mean, I agree with you completely. I do not see the difference between these countries. And I ask again, what's the difference between them and North Korea? What's the difference between them and the Chinese government that we boycotted for 45 years? I mean, really, I don't see it. I guess one difference is, if you believe the official story, only one of those countries I just mentioned planned 9/11.
Or had a large number of citizens.
Yeah, no, true, because it's not like the Saudi government.
Yeah,
I
don't believe the.
But it was Saudi Arabian citizens.
Yes,
who
large
plotted
number
it.
Of Saudi
if
Arabian
you believe the official story, that plotted that. It wasn't North Koreans. It wasn't Iranians. It wasn't wasn't people from the Sudan.
In all fairness too, I have, and it's not just Islamic countries, but it's any country that is pushing some tyrannical religious agenda against their citizens. That to me is wrong, and Saudi Arabia is one of the biggest abusers of that.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not right.
No,
they could be a Christian nation and do the same thing, and it still would be just as wrong as what they're doing right now.
I personally know a family who at one point lived in Saudi Arabia for some time, and this wasn't this was some years ago, but I know how the woman in that family, what she was allowed to do and what she wasn't allowed to do while living in Saudi Arabia, and it not a nice place to live.
Let's just cut the bullshit.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's just cut the bullshit with Saudi Arabia. They're not good people.
No, they're not.
The government is not good people.
And hey, you know what? Donald Trump.
The people. I'm sure the citizens of Saudi Arabia.
Oh no, it's great. Yeah, you don't get to choose where you live.
No,
you don't get to choose where you're born.
The government of Saudi Arabia, they are dirtbags, and we need to cut the bullshit with them. We need to cut. Take for instance the WWE. They're having a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia on November 2nd. Why? Because they got a shit ton of money from them. They got bribed by Saudi Arabia to have some pay-per-views there. Cut the bullshit. This is a country that's killing their own citizens because they speak out against them. Cut the bullshit with this country.
I'm with you. You know what? I was totally for getting rid of... I hated... I'm not a Trump fan. You guys know that. Everybody knows that who listens to me. But I was totally for cutting off that Iran deal that Obama made. Garbage deal. Terrible deal. That's a conversation for a different day. Iran sucks. Iran are absolutely terrible people.
Iran are backwards nation.
But we all know that, as you pointed out, Adam. We all know that Iran are terrible. You know what? We're putting sanctions on Iran. We had sanctions on Saudi Arabia in the 70s and 80s, and this is what turned them around to being our quote-unquote ally. Sounds to me like slap the sanctions back on. You know? That's what it sounds like to me. You know, you had sanctions on Iran. Slap those same sanctions on Saudi Arabia.
I know one of the big justifications of of wanting to keep doing business with them too is like the $40 billion arms deal or something they have going on with. And you know what? And one of the things they're saying right now is, if they don't buy the American arms, then the Chinese or the Russians are going to go sell them arms. No, they're not.
No, not really.
No, they're not.
And you know what? Maybe they will. So what? Does that make right wrong and wrong right?
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
Exactly, Josh.
Yep.
But from a asshole materialistic standpoint, how many Russian cars out there are people lining up to buy?
Yeah. People buy Russian cars in one place and one place only.
Russia.
In Russia, because they have no other cars to buy and they're garbage.
Yeah. How many
Russian cars last like 40,000 miles. They're
many-
pieces of junk.
I know a lot of stuff is made in China, but how many Chinese cars are people lining up to buy?
None.
None. Do you think Saudi Arabia with the money they're willing to spend over arms are going to waste that money on buying cheaply made Russian arms or cheaply made Chinese arms?
Decent automobiles are made in 3 places in the world. Or from 3 places in the world. I'm not talking about where the factories might be positioned at the moment, because I'm not about to say that there's great cars from Mexico because Ford makes cars. No, the Ford is an American company, but the United States, Europe, and Japan are the only places on planet Earth that make a decent, reliable, and safe automobile. That's it.
Korea's kind of in there too.
Okay, but Korean car companies, for the most part, are Japanese offshoots.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, they truly are. I know Kia makes a decent car.
Is that Korean?
Yes, Kia and
Hyundai.
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 Hyundai, whatever.
Hyundai.
Okay, however you want to pronounce it. I'm saying it phonetically. I don't know. I'm just reading the back of the car. But Hyundai and Kia are Korean. Yes. And what was the other one?
I don't know another.
Disu. Something Disu or something.
I don't know.
I believe they were bought out. I believe Kia bought them out. But
I think Hyundai was owned by Ford for a time too. I think.
And Honda has a part in some of those as well. Okay. And if they continue to grow, they'll probably get bought out.
No, you're right. I mean, for the most part, that's where the best automobiles in the world are made. It's Europe, United States.
The only decent ones.
Yeah.
I mean, where are the Russian cars actually might pop up in some other places around the world. Why are Russian cars not sold in the United States? It isn't because we don't have a free market. We do have a free market. But they don't, well, we have somewhat of a free market, but they don't even come close to passing our safety standards.
No.
Not even close.
And I can just
Same with Chinese cars.
I can just about guarantee you too, Europe is right next to Russia. I don't know how many Russian cars are probably driving around.
No, because they have regulations.
Yeah.
They have regulations like we do. And the thing is, I mean, Europe, there's some great cars made in Europe.
Yeah.
But
some of the best in the world.
Yeah, but number one selling car company in Europe, do you know what it is?
GM?
Ford.
Ford is
number one in Europe. Because guess what? Because BMWs are expensive there too.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Audi and BMW.
I mean, Volkswagen's huge though. Volkswagen's huge.
I think Volkswagen is actually the biggest car company in the world now.
Yeah. I mean, well, sales wise, they might be. They're the.
I don't like Volkswagen though.
No, I think they're the second biggest car company.
Car, but
yeah, it is. It is a Hitler car. And Audis are just Volkswagens with a much bigger price tag and a different thing slapped on the side of them. They are. Same with the Lexus and the Toyota.
Anyways, Josh, I should probably move on because we're running late here.
Right, for sure.
Coral Springs, an officer was filmed punching a 14-year-old repeatedly. It was there is
14-year-old girl.
14-year-old girl. There is cell phone video on. You can go to our Facebook page and take a look, or over on our Twitter account, the Majors TV. You'll be able to see it there. But a 14-year-old girl was taking punches from this Coral Springs police officer, which the Coral Springs Police Department defended his actions.
And a whole bunch of other government worshipping statists on the
Yes.
internet have
But I want to know.
out, too.
I mean, watching this video, this girl she's being subdued by 2 officers.
Right.
2 officers. One of them is punching her in the side.
Yeah.
I want to know in what circumstance is something like this okay?
I have no idea. Only this one. To answer your question, according to only this one is this.
What circumstance is something like this okay? Because the thing is here is they said that this girl was part of a group that was picking on kids and beating up younger kids.
Okay, so she committed a crime. So we've established why they're arresting her.
Okay, yeah.
So now established why it was necessary for one grown man to pin this child, this female child, to the ground with his knee, and for the other grown man, trained officers, mind you, to be delivering haymakers to her side.
Yep. What is the justification in something like that? Because the comments here are pretty I don't want to say they're hysterical. They're kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
One person says, "LOL, nice editing. She needs to get her hands out." Okay, so she's not putting her hands out. So you punch her.
So evidently, okay. So pretend like she's a serial killer. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now you're fully acknowledging that police are judge, jury, and executioner, and that not putting your hands up is a crime punishable by severe beating.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is what you're acknowledging.
Yep. Another person. This video shows a fairly strong female resisting arrest.
Fairly strong female.
She is probably biting his nutsack. Okay. This person
biting his nutsack? What, through the cement?
This person is this person here is obviously a fucking moron. But a fairly
and blind, by the way, if they're watching the video.
Female resisting arrest. Okay, she may be resisting arrest. She may be. And she may be a fairly strong female. But again, 2 officers on top of this person.
Right.
Punching her. Is that justification her resisting arrest? You punch her.
I am a 5'5" male. That is 4 inches shorter than the average American male. And I weigh 140 pounds. I have zero police training, zero training in any of this. And I promise you there isn't a 14-year-old girl out there that me and another person like me couldn't subdue without punching.
Yeah.
They don't exist. I have my daughter's actually 15. Significantly stronger than she was last year. In excellent shape. No. Thing is, we're so willing to give our liberty.
Well, hold on, Jay. Let me read the rest of these.
Sure,
too.
yeah, no, please do.
Let me read the rest of these because and here's somebody. This is just this person here. Now, throwing out the racist term. This guy's a racist right here.
Okay.
This has become typical among black teens, or teen blacks, so they can try to claim racism. Thanks, Barack Obama.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to say that this guy.
That person was a fool. Okay.
Yeah. Where's the rest of the video? The full context? Well, I told you.
Doesn't matter. I don't care what this person did beforehand. It doesn't matter.
No. Even if this person went out on a shooting spree.
No, it doesn't matter. They brought Jeffrey Dahmer in without doing this to him. Knowing that he was eating people. Eating people and putting them in his crawl space. They did not do this to Jeffrey Dahmer when they brought him in.
You know why? Because you are presumed you are innocent until proven guilty.
Right. It's not their job to do this.
As far as we see right now, this is an innocent girl being punched by a police officer while being held down by another police officer.
Okay, so allegedly this girl was she's a bad person. She was picking on smaller kids. We don't like that, right? We definitely don't like teenagers picking on smaller kids. We don't like teenagers committing crimes. We don't like people being mean to other people. So allegedly that's what this person was. Adam, pretend like that was your daughter. There's also some comments that are accusing her of being on drugs.
Yeah, well,
no proof of that. Go ahead and read that one.
Yep, that is what happens when you are on drugs. Again, no proof that this person was on drugs. And then finally...
So, again, the punishment for taking drugs is being pinned to the ground with no trial and being beat by 2 men twice your size.
And then here we go. Here's the last one. I think this was your favorite one. Why do you try to make it sound like the police are in the wrong? Clearly, it's the criminal. Clearly, it's the criminal.
The criminal, because she's already convicted, right?
She's already convicted.
Yeah, she's not innocent until proven guilty. She's already the criminal.
She's guilty until proven innocent.
Right, and she's just been proven guilty by being thrown to the ground because it's illegal to resist arrest even when you're innocent. And I'm not saying she is innocent, not innocent, it doesn't matter. That's what the courts figure out later. But pretend for a second that you're a dad. You're a dad. Living life. You know, it's your job, right? Not a job you get paid for, but it's your job to take care of your children. And you have a 14-year-old daughter who is on drugs. She's on drugs, and she's picking on some little kids. And you try to stop her, and you fail, and next thing you know, you got her pinned down on the ground with your knee in her neck, and you're punching her in the side. That's illegal. Those same cops that did this will come to your home and arrest you for doing that to your own daughter. If you felt that that's... I'm sorry, officer. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Judge. My daughter was on drugs, and she was picking on small children, so perhaps I got carried away, but I felt that was the only way to subdue her. No, you just committed child abuse. If you did that to your own daughter. But it's okay for a cop to do it, right? It's okay for a cop to do it, and then everyone should get on the internet and defend that cop for doing it. The cop that has training.
The cop that has training. 2 cops that have had training.
Yeah. Training. They're carrying handcuffs. They're carrying
handcuffs,
tasers,
guns,
and
tasers, clubs.
But they're throwing closed-handed punches on a child. Tell me why it's okay. Really, tell me why a cop can throw a closed fist punch on a 14-year-old. More than one. It'd be one thing if she was coming at them and he clocked her with one.
Yep.
Clocked her with one in the mouth and knocked her out and was like, whoa, hey, that happened. Now go back to being a professional and fix the issue,
Why you hitting her? She can't do it. She can't do that. Her hand's underneath her.
Yeah.
Why you hitting her? She can't do it. She can't do that. Her hand's underneath her. Why you hitting her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that just loops over and over
Sure,
again.
sure.
But no, I told you, Josh, what I thought about the defense of this particular police officer is. I think it's a fake patriotism. I really do. I think that people see something like this, and because police officers they're sworn to protect and serve, quote unquote, that people are supposed to defend cops because they have a quote unquote dangerous job, and that their first duty is to protect us as citizens, and that's what we're told. We're told that that police are out there to protect you, and that the Blue Lives Matter thing, and that that we're supposed to obey, and I'm not telling everybody to go out there and start breaking laws or anything like that. But when you see something that is clearly in the wrong here, why are you still trying to defend it? Because you think it's the right thing to do, or you think that it's the American way to protect our police force?
No, I mean, you call it fake patriotism. I don't disagree. I call it state worship. It's absolute worship of the state. We have owners and controllers controlling this world. These are their enforcers. And you are worshiping the ground they walk on and saying that they can do no wrong. And quite frankly, if nothing else, these individuals in this video are terrible at their job. And in a free market society, in a world that values any sort of freedom or liberty, those two individuals should never be able to work in that field again.
I feel bad for the people of Coral Springs, Florida, too, because the police department was out there the next day defending this.
Right.
That's it.
I don't know how you watch that video and defend it.
No,
I just don't.
There is no defense to this. No defense. A 14-year-old girl is face down on the ground with two cops on top of her, one of them punching her repeatedly in the side. I don't know what other context you need for something like this.
These are trained professionals. I do not care if this young woman was caught in the act and that when they said to her, put your hands up, she said, fuck you, pig, I'm not putting my hands up. You don't get to close-handed punch this young girl for that. You take her hands one by one, subdue her, and put her in handcuffs. Peaceably. That's your job. You're a police officer. That's what you do. I don't care if she spits in your face and says, fuck you, pig, and your mom, too. Doesn't matter. She has freedom of speech. She can do that. And you, as a cop, as a police officer, you're trained. You're trained to deal with that. And not only do you have to accept that adversity, you actually have to accept it more than the average person. That thing that is said to Joe Citizen that will make you get pissed off and fly off the handle, you as a police officer are trained to deal with that. More so. Not just as much, more so. You have to say, okay, well, that's what's happening here. Move on. That's what I was trained to do.
And some cops are very good at doing that.
Some are.
Some are.
Some are. Some aren't. And these two are not.
Nope.
And other state worshipers will say things to you like, oh, you only focus on the bad cops. What about all the good cops? What about them? What about all the good cops? They're doing their job. Good for them. Do you know what they get for that? For doing their good job? They get a paycheck.
They get a paycheck just like
every
everybody
week.
Else.
Just like me, just like you.
That puts in a day's work.
Honest day's work for an honest day's pay. That's what you get for doing the job you signed up to do. So yeah, so when you, a government employee, do something wrong, yes, you're goddamn right you're going to be the one on YouTube.
Yep.
You're goddamn right you're going to be the one that we're looking at. And for all you cops out there, no, I'm not going to congratulate you for doing your job. Really. You're a good cop. Good for you. I've been a lot of good things over the years. I don't look for a pat on the back or a thank you. I don't. I've been a good roofer for many years. Why did I do it? Oh, because I really feel the need to, protect the houses in the world from getting water in them. No, I got it because I got paid. That's why. Did I like the job? Yeah, I kind of take the job. It's a cool job. I liked it. I hope those good cops, I hope they like their job too.
So you're saying these, police officers would not still be police officers so they wouldn't be getting a paycheck?
No, this is exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, they and there's nothing wrong with that.
So they're not in the force out of the goodness of their heart.
No, they are not. They do this for a job, and that's okay. And hey, if you like your job and you feel like you're making a difference in the world, no matter what your job is, maybe you work at Burger King and you feel like you grill the burgers just a little bit better than the other guys. Good. Take pride in your work. Be happy with what you're doing for your paycheck. But we all know why you're doing it. You're doing it for a paycheck. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But no, I'm not going to kiss the ass of every cop who did their job properly. And I am going to criticize the cops who do it improperly. Especially since, I'm going to say it. You stole my tax money to pay for them. So you bet your ass I'm going to be pissed. So should all of you. You are paying their paycheck. However you want to say, oh, no, well, not technically. The income tax doesn't actually go to the cops. It goes to... Shut up! Taxes are taxes. yes, that is what is paying their paycheck. And you do have a right as a citizen to complain about it. However it is. Even if you're wrong, you have the right to complain about it. I think cops are dumb. I think they should drive escorts instead of Crown Victorias because escorts are cheaper. You have the right to say that. You have the right to say that.
All right. We're going to go ahead and start to wrap this up. One other thing. Apple launched its first iPod 17 years ago today.
Wow.
Very first iPod
makes
was
you feel
announced by
old.
Apple on October 23rd, 2001. It had a 5 gigabyte, had 5 gigabytes of storage, held about 1,000 songs, and retailed at $399 US.
It still sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. 5 gigabytes of storage, though, isn't a whole lot.
Hey, I'm pretty dumb with computer stuff, as you know, better than anyone in the world, Adam.
Yep.
Yep. If you had one of those, would it still work? I mean, could you use that as a phone? I mean, would it?
Well, the iPods weren't phones then; they were.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is not the iPhone. This was the iPod.
No, the iPhone was released I want to say 6 years later.
Okay.
And it did hold.
So, but if you had one of those iPods, it would still work, right?
I don't know if the software would still work with the new operating system. If you had a Mac computer that still ran that operating system, yeah, it would still work. I mean, it would still hold songs. I don't know if you'd be able to load songs onto it though, because.
But naturally, of course, it would still play the songs.
It would still play the songs, yeah. I mean, as long
that
as
I know because I have an ancient iPod at home.
yeah, as long as the lithium battery is still good, yeah, it's still gonna play songs. But
I have an iPod Nano at home with like 25 songs on it. It still works.
I don't know though if you could actually hook it up to a computer anymore and have it be able to load or unload songs from it. Just because I don't think that the operating systems are probably the operating system would run off of its.
It's like some old computer games are almost unplayable now because there isn't really a.
Yeah.
I got to download a newer version of it, which is technically an emulated version of it. But.
Yeah, but I have. I mean, where is it? I mean, I have like that first generation iPhone somewhere in here. I think it's in one of these drawers, but.
And would that work or no?
I could charge it and turn it on, which I have, and it's really weird. Comparing it to the phone I have currently right now, I don't think it's I think the whole phone is about as big as the screen.
Okay. So the question I have for you, resident tech expert Adam Hernandez, if I had an iPhone, the very first iPhone that came out, and I took it to the cell phone store.
AT&T or something.
Yeah, and said, I want to activate this and get a plan. Would you be able to do that?
I don't think it would.
And would it just maybe work as a phone?
I don't think so.
Can I take my old pager?
No, I don't. Maybe. Do they still sell pagers?
They do because I know doctors use them. They use them in-house in hospitals and stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah. I just don't think the operating system.
Because I have my pager from 1996 sitting on my dresser at home.
You sell drugs?
No, but that's funny though that you say that because, when we were in high school, nowadays, I call my kids at school, I text my kids while they're at school and they answer, they respond, and when I was in high school, I had a pager and you had to hide it because it was only drug dealers have pagers, and if you got caught with it, they would take it and you just legitimately you wouldn't get it back.
Dude, we couldn't even have.
They just took it.
Yeah, we couldn't even have a portable CD player.
Yeah, I mean, they took it, and you didn't get that shit back. It was just I remember the assistant principal at my school. He had a drawer in his desk, his old-fashioned pull-out metal desk that was just filled with pagers.
So is that a kid's first experience with the state?
Maybe, yeah.
Taking their property.
Yeah, I remember proudly showing that drawer, just brimming with pagers, just chucked in there, that he would just take and keep. But I used to hide it the fifth pocket in your pants. I used to take my pager out of the, take the clip off and put it in the fifth pocket. and that's where I would like carry because you didn't want to get caught with it.
Yeah,
Keep it on vibrate.
I never had a pager. I didn't have a cell phone until I was like
You're younger than me, though.
Until I was a freshman in college.
Yeah, you're younger than me,
So.
dude. I didn't have a cell phone until I was married. So, but I'm older than you are, though.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, significantly older than you.
But that's gonna do it.
That will do it. That will. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the XCast, episode number 91, Sergei Fedorov edition. We never mentioned him other than saying it was the Sergei Fedorov edition, but he was a great player, and he was number 91, so there you go. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week. What do we got next week in this time slot?
The Deep Issues Halloween episode.
We do, yes.
And it's going to be on Monday night, though, instead of Tuesday night.
Right. So Monday night, instead of our normal slot on Tuesday night, there will be the special yearly Halloween edition, which will be a crossover with our Deep Issues cast.
Technically a Deep Issues show.
Yeah, right. It is technically a Deep Issues show, but we're going to have people from the majors live on here. There might even be somebody from the best podcast in history.
It's kind of like the Super Bowl. You know, like when the Super Bowls, you know, this year NBC gets it.
Right.
Fox gets it, or
yeah.
NBC gets it.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year was kind of like the XCast. This year it's Deep Issues.
Deep Issues.
But the majors live people on for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. So tune in next week. Last year's show was great. I hope we can duplicate what we did last year, maybe even better. So everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight, and we'll catch you next week with a couple of fun shows and much more to come coming up at you next month too. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you.